So Ride 4 has been out for a little while now, and yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Overall, it's an enjoyable experience from what I've played. We've played plenty of career mode, plenty of just random races. I haven't done much online, so I'm going to get into that. But I thought it'd be about time to get in and let's talk about 5 things that I hate about Ride 4. So just before we get into the 5 things, this is my opinion. Some things have been patched already, but yeah, this is what I've experienced from the first sort of 25 hours of the game is sort of my playtime on Ride 4. We played the preview build as well, but obviously that's been disregarded. We've got the full game now, so let's get into the 5 things. So the first thing is the penalty system, and this has been patched and improved, but basically when you first started this Ride 4 game, any little touch on the grass over the white line on the green AstroTurf just at the side of the curbs, you'd get a penalty. And in career mode, when you're doing these time attack challenges, it would just end your run and you'd have to start again, and it was infuriating. And in the races, you'd get a little penalty here and there at every single exit of the corner. If you run wide, if an AI shove you wide, if you run a little bit deep, you make a mistake, you lose time, you still get penalised. Now luckily that has been mostly patched in a new sort of day 1, day 2 patch since the launch of the game, so that has been sort of nerfed and fixed, but you still experience it every so often. It's a little bit more lenient now, but on day 1 that just was not ideal. If you go back to the start of my career mode series, you will see that we had a lot of trouble with those penalty systems. The next thing then is the lack of asymmetric tyre wear. So in MotoGP 20, Milestone introduced the asymmetric tyre wear system, where the left side of the tyre would independently wear from the right and the centre of the tyre. This meant that around right-handers, a track with predominantly right-handers, you'd get a lot more wear on that right-hand side of the tyres, front and back. Whereas on Ride 4, that is completely gone. It's just the general tyre wear for the overall part of the tyre, which I can see why it's been removed, in the way that there are way more bikes than just the sort of 5-6 manufacturers in MotoGP. But it would have been nice for them to implement that, at least in the endurance mode. There aren't as many endurance bikes, so it would have been nice for them to do that in the endurance mode. Speaking of endurance mode then, the next thing is the lack of rewind in an endurance race. So the rewind feature isn't the most loved thing among racing fans in racing games these days, but it's in there as a useful thing. If you're doing a race and you make a mistake, you look away, someone walks in front of the telly or whatever where you're trying to play, you can rewind and undo that mistake. Well, in endurance mode, it's gone, it's completely banned. You can't use the rewind feature in endurance mode, which is really annoying, because something like the endurance mode, you could be doing a 24-hour race, and because that's what you can do up to a 24-hour race in Ride 4 endurance mode. But you could be doing that race and say whatever, I don't know, the dog starts barking or running in front of the telly, or someone walks in front of the telly and you make a mistake because of that, something completely out of your control, completely legitimate, and you hit the deck. So really, like any other race on Ride 4, you'd be able to rewind it, while the endurance mode you can't. So I don't know why this is. I don't know if it's to do with the pit stops, whether it messes up other riders' tyre wear or fuel usage, whether they can't rewind that. I don't know, because on MotoGP 20 there's tyre wear, fuel wear, fuel usage tracking. It does get undone when you use the rewind feature in MotoGP. However, Ride 4 is just not present, and I find that really annoying, especially when you're doing a decent long race. So I tend to stick to the 20 minutes ones, where I can sort of concentrate for those 20-minute races and actually not fall off while riding. The next thing, again, endurance mode, is the fact that fuel simulation is only in the endurance mode. So it would have been nice for every other race mode to have at least the fuel usage tracked, and for it to deplenish during your race. Like on MotoGP 20, you have the race, the fuel gets used, so I can't see why it couldn't be done in any other sort of 5-lap race anywhere else at another track. So That would have been nice to be seen again in Rive 4, but it's only in the endurance mode, because you don't need the pit stops, you just need the fuel usage to go down and to be able to use those different power mappers. It just adds that extra dimension to the game. So we've already seen it in MotoGP 20, so it feels a little bit of a step back in Rive 4, that any sort of normal race you cannot see the fuel usage and change the power mode in Rive 4. So the last thing then is a bit of a love-hate sort of thing, but it is the AI. So the AI, the ANA system, it works well and it doesn't work well, and we see this on MotoGP 20 as well. Sometimes they can be over-aggressive. Heading into a hairpin, if you run wide, they'll just head for that gap and they will knock you off. The amount of times that I've been rammed by the AI from behind because they've been too aggressive is crazy. It's crazy. It is bonkers, because you'd have thought that they advertised this ANA AI, which generally on the whole is great. They do ride like sort of real riders, but then every so often they will just be over-aggressive, wipe you out, just shove it up the inside. I mean, that's good to see, but when it's over aggressive and they just come in and knock you off your bike, it's very annoying, especially in that endurance mode, which doesn't have the rewind feature. Sometimes you use the rewind feature because the AI have done something stupid, something unrealistic, and you just want to undo it because it just ruins your whole race. So that's been it for my 5 things that I hate about Rive 4. There are plenty of things I love about it. I don't want you to think that I hate the game. I absolutely love the game, to be honest, but in contrast then, we'll do a video soon, which is 5 things that I love about Rive 4, because there's plenty of them. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel for that. But for now, if you are new around here, make sure you get subscribed. Make sure you let me know down below in the comments what are some things that you hate about Rive 4, and we'll have a bit of a conversation in the comments section down below. But for now, make sure you get subscribed to the channel. Plenty more Rive 4 and MotoGP content, and have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.